Hi, I'm Barry Green, and our company is called Richard E. Ryan and Associates, and I'm one of the founding members. We started March 1982, and we're going on our 32nd year, of which I've been here almost 32 years. An average day, I wear many hats if you're talking about me personally. So first thing in the morning, we'll go downstairs and walk around the street. We call it the street, the food terminal, the Ontario Food Terminal. And we'll go in and talk to our customers, and we'll go into the stalls, look at the product, look at what they're selling, the rotation, the quality of the product, the condition of it, get a feel of the market. Not all the product is ours that we market, but it gives us a sense of the competition, what's going on, is there local, is it from Florida, is it from Washington, is it from the different growing areas? And then we take that information, we come upstairs, and then we get on the phones. We have, each of us have our own little deals that over the years have kind of worked out. Talk to our suppliers, talk to our customers, and basically we are middlemen. We're in the middle, and we are connecting our supply side with our customer base. Now, you'll probably have to edit this out, but if you could take that camera and slide it over to a newspaper article that I have framed from 1954, my grandfather, he came over from Lithuania, and they started peddling fruits and vegetables from a horse and wagon in Ottawa. That's where they settled. And then they tried retailing, and that didn't work, and then they finally went into wholesale. So they don't have in Ottawa a market like the Ontario Food Terminal, but there are wholesalers in Ottawa. And that's how they made their living for quite a few years. And my father happened to marry the daughter of one of the bosses, and he got involved in it. And so when we had family gatherings, and as I was a young person, I would hear the business stories. And I don't know what they were talking about, but it just sounded fascinating. And eventually my father was not part of that company, and then they wound it down and everything. And but I was still involved in the business because my father was working for Loeb, which is now Proago. It was a chain. And then he worked for Fisher Brothers, FBI Foods in Montreal, and then he was involved in the international division of South African oranges and grapes and all this kind of stuff. And as a university student, I needed to try and make money. And in those days, you could work in the summer and pay for your tuition. Now it's tough. And so I got a job unloading when everything used to come by rail. They ripped out all the rail tracks here. But in Montreal, at Marché Central, and I couldn't speak French, so I couldn't work in the wholesale and helping to pick orders. So they sent me out on track, and I would unload railway cars. So it was a way to make money for my tuition. Or I worked down at the old Montreal, the docks, when the ships came in, and they would unload everything. It was by hand. Now, we weren't allowed to touch any of that. It was all Teamsters and everything. But we were the ones that had to receive it. And then all the big orders, we had to load the tractor trailers, 48-footers. And as a summer student, you did that. Well, I gave it a lot of thought. And the first thing I would say to anyone is you need an education. In this day and age, I don't care what industry you're going into, you need an education, and it needs to be well-rounded. So I'm thinking back what I needed because I became an owner. Well, all of a sudden, that accounting that I didn't like, and debits and credits, that kind of helped a little bit. Marketing helps. English skills, reading, writing, being able to spell. I can't spell. I never could spell. I'm a little dyslexic, but I overcome it. And spell check, they sometimes can't even find the words. So it's frustrating, but you need to have all that capabilities. And you put it all together, psychology, history, no sports, because you want to connect. In this business, you're connecting with the individual, the person that's making the decisions on both sides. They have to trust you first, because the way it works in our industry is you call on the phone or you send an email, mostly voice. I love the phone still. I know everyone wants to text, but when you want to get things done and you want to hear how the person is on the other side of the phone, because they're not just a person selling, it's like a friend. You develop these relationships. You learn about their family. You're doing this for, you learn about their kids and everything. So if they're having a bad day or there's stress in their voice, or is it because the crop's coming on and they have no orders? Is it because they committed to a chain and now they don't have product? Or is it because somebody in their family's sick? You don't know what's going on. So the voice is very important because that then determines how you communicate. And then you develop the trust. And then you develop the trust on the other end. There's lots of people that can make a fast buck in this business. The key is to work with integrity, honesty, and you're open. You're not hiding anything. And especially as us being in the middle, we are trying to be, that's it, transparent. I was looking for that word, transparent. And if you're that way, you may not get that order today, but you'll be here 32 years.